In 1985, when Madonna was just becoming famous, she made herself a promise. If she ever made it big, she'd remember what it felt like to be invisible, to be told no, to have talent, but no door to walk through. 5 years later, on June 12, 1990, during her Blond Ambition tour in Los Angeles, that promise was tested. A 17-year-old street musician was singing outside the Forum, and Madonna's security wanted to remove her for disrupting the venue. Instead, Madonna said 5 words that changed everything. "Bring her to me." Now, what happened in the next 20 minutes created a moment that defined Madonna's legacy more than any award ever could. The heat of a Los Angeles summer evening hung heavy over the Forum parking lot. Inside, 65,000 fans were finding their seats. The Blond Ambition tour had been breaking records across the country, and tonight's show was completely sold out. Outside, near the loading docks, a thin girl with dark hair sat on the concrete with her back against the wall. Her name was Destiny Martinez, and she was 17 years old. Next to her was a battered guitar case, open, with maybe $6 in coins scattered across the velvet lining. She'd been living in that parking lot for 3 days. Destiny had hitchhiked from Phoenix with one goal: to see Madonna perform live. She'd saved every dollar from her job at a diner for a ticket. But when she got to Los Angeles, she'd been robbed her first night. Everything gone: money, Idaho, the ticket she'd kept, like it was made of gold. She'd cried for an hour. Then she did what she always did when the world got too heavy. She started singing. Now, as the sun began to set, Destiny picked up her guitar. She had nowhere else to go. So she started playing Like a Prayer, one of the songs that had gotten her through the worst nights back in Phoenix. Her voice was raw, untrained, but there was something in it, something honest. She sang not because anyone was listening, but because singing was the only thing that made her feel less alone. Inside the Forum, Madonna was in the middle of Soundcheck. The band was running through Express Yourself, making sure every cue was perfect. Madonna stopped mid-verse and held up her hand. The music cut out. "Hold on," she said. "Do you guys hear that?" Her musical director looked confused. "Hear what?" "That voice. Someone's singing." She was already walking off stage, following the sound through the backstage corridors until she reached the loading dock door. A security guard was standing there, looking uncomfortable. "Miss Ciccone," he said, "there's a situation outside, a homeless girl. We were about to call the police to remove her." Madonna's expression hardened. "She's singing my song." "Yes, ma'am. She's been doing that for hours." Madonna pushed past him and opened the door. There, about 20 feet away, was a girl who couldn't have been more than 17. Torn jeans, a faded t-shirt, bare feet, and a guitar that looked like it had been through a war. She was singing Like a Prayer with her eyes closed, completely unaware that Madonna was standing there. For a moment, Madonna just listened. The girl's voice cracked on some of the high notes. Her guitar playing was basic, self-taught, but there was something in her performance that Madonna recognized immediately. It was necessity. This girl was singing because she had to, because it was the only thing keeping her from disappearing completely. Madonna knew that feeling. She'd lived it. When the girl finished the song, she opened her eyes and saw Madonna standing there. Her face went white. "Oh my God," she whispered. Madonna walked over and sat down on the concrete next to her, right there on the ground. "What's your name?" Madonna asked. "Destiny. Destiny Martinez." "How long have you been out here?" 3 days. "I came to see your show, but I got robbed, and I don't have a ticket anymore, and I'm sorry." Madonna held up a hand. How old are you? 17. Where are you from? Phoenix. Madonna was quiet for a moment. In 1985, I was in New York, broke, living in a building with no heat. I used to sing on street corners. Most people walked past, like I didn't exist. You know what that feels like? Destiny nodded, tears streaming down her face. I made myself a promise back then. Madonna continued. If I ever had the power to open doors, I'd remember what it felt like to have every door slammed in my face. She stood up and looked at her security chief, who was hovering nearby looking nervous. Bring her to me. Now, Madonna said. Get her cleaned up, fed, and find her something to wear. She's performing tonight. The security chief's eyes went wide. Ciccone. We can't. Just the insurance, the liability. Madonna's voice dropped to that tone everyone on her team knew meant the conversation was over. I said now. 20 minutes later, Destiny was standing in Madonna's private dressing room. Someone had given her a shower, found her clothes that fit, and handed her food she could barely eat. Madonna walked in, now in her pre-show outfit. She looked at Destiny and smiled. You ready? Ready for what? To perform. You've got something real. Raw but real. Tonight, 65,000 people are going to hear it. I can't. I'm not. Madonna sat down next to her. Listen to me. You know how many people told me I couldn't, that I wasn't good enough? Everyone. You want to know the secret? Destiny nodded. The secret is that you don't need permission to be talented. You're already a singer. The stage doesn't make you that. You bring that to the stage. She stood and extended her hand. So I'm not giving you permission. I'm just giving you a platform. The rest is already inside you. Destiny took her hand, and they walked toward the stage entrance. The show had already started. When Madonna finished Express Yourself, the arena erupted. But instead of going into the next song, she did something nobody expected. She held up her hand, and the music stopped. 65,000 people went from screaming to silent in seconds. I need to tell you something, Madonna said. 5 years ago I was singing on street corners in New York, and people walked past me like I was invisible. Tonight, before this show, I met someone who reminded me what that felt like. She turned toward the wings. Destiny, come out here. Destiny walked onto the stage, her legs shaking. The lights hit her, and suddenly she was standing in front of more people than she'd ever seen. Madonna put an arm around her shoulders. This is Destiny. She's 17. She hitchhiked from Phoenix to see this show. She got robbed, lost everything, and has been living in the parking lot for 3 days. But you know what she did? She kept singing. The arena was completely silent. She's going to sing with me now, Madonna said. Not because I'm doing her a favor, but because talent doesn't need permission. It just needs to be heard. She handed Destiny a microphone. The band started a slow version of Like a Prayer. Destiny stood frozen. Her mind was screaming that she couldn't do this. Then she remembered what Madonna had said. You're already a singer. She closed her eyes, took a breath, and began to sing. The first note came out shaky, but by the second line, something shifted. She stopped thinking about the crowd. Her voice grew stronger. The crack and rawness became the very thing that made it beautiful. Madonna stood back, watching. She didn't join in. This moment wasn't about her. When Destiny hit the chorus, her voice soared. The band followed her lead. By the final verse, the entire arena was singing along, quietly, respectfully. When the last note faded, there was a beat of silence. Then the place exploded. People weren't just applauding, they were crying. Strangers were hugging each other. The sound was deafening. Madonna walked over and pulled Destiny into a hug, whispering, "You just did the impossible." Destiny couldn't speak. She just held on to Madonna and sobbed. After the show, Madonna brought Destiny back to her dressing room. She made phone calls to a studio in Los Angeles, to a manager she trusted, to a lawyer who could help. "You're not going back to Phoenix to work at a diner," Madonna said. "You're going to record a demo. You're going to meet people who can help you. And you're going to work harder than you've ever worked, because talent opens the door, but discipline keeps it open." Over the next year, Destiny recorded her first album. Madonna didn't produce it. Destiny needed to find her own sound. But Madonna made calls, opened doors, and made sure the girl had a real shot. The album didn't go platinum, but it did well enough to launch a real career. Destiny toured, wrote songs, and built a following of people who loved her for being honest. Years later, someone asked Madonna about the most important performance of her career. Everyone expected her to say Live Aid or the MTV Awards. Instead, she said, "June 12, 1990, Los Angeles Forum. When I gave my microphone to a girl named Destiny." Why that one? Madonna thought for a moment. "Because that night, I kept a promise I made to myself when I was nobody. I remembered what it felt like to be invisible, and I used the power I'd earned to make someone else visible. That's what success is supposed to be for." "Do you still talk to her?" Madonna smiled. "Every few months. She's teaching music now to kids in Phoenix who don't have money for lessons. She tells them what I told her. You don't need permission to be an artist. You already are one. What do you think would have happened if you'd let security remove her?" Madonna's expression turned serious. She probably would have given up, gone back to Phoenix, convinced she wasn't good enough, and the world would have lost something beautiful. She paused. "That's what haunts me. How many Destinies are out there with real talent, but nobody's listening? How many people give up right before their moment comes? What would you say to them? Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for someone to tell you you're allowed to create. You already are an artist. The world just hasn't noticed yet. But that doesn't make you less real." Today, if you search for that June 1990 concert, you can find clips online. The footage is grainy, but you can see the moment when Madonna brings out this unknown girl and hands her the microphone. You can see the girl's hands shaking. You can see Madonna stepping back. You can see the exact moment when fear transforms into surrender to the music itself. And if you read the comments, you'll see thousands of people talking about how that moment changed their lives, how it reminded them that they were allowed to dream, allowed to be seen, because that's what that night was about. Recognizing that talent exists everywhere, in parking lots and street corners, and places nobody thinks to look. And sometimes, all it takes is one person with power saying, "I see you, you matter. Here's your moment." Destiny Martinez never became as famous as Madonna, but she became exactly what she was meant to be: a working musician, a teacher, a person who uses her voice to remind others that theirs matters too. And somewhere in Phoenix right now, there's probably a kid in Destiny's music class, learning guitar, dreaming of impossible things. And when that kid says, "I could never do this professionally," Destiny tells them what Madonna told her: "You don't need permission. You're already doing it." If this story reminded you that everyone deserves to be heard, hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. Share this with someone who needs to know. Their voice matters. Drop a comment about a time when someone believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself. And ring that notification bell for more true stories about moments that prove humanity still shows up when it matters most.